Hello guys, it is Deb with Living Life, and today I am making my jumbo cinnamon rolls with cream cheese frosting. So to get started, I need to make up my dough, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it in my stand mixer. That way when all of the ingredients are in, I can just use my dough hook, and it saves a little time in having to knead it by hand. So we're going to get started. Like always, I will have the recipe with all of my measurements in the description, but for right now I'm just going to quickly go through what they are and add them to the mixing bowl, and we're going to get started. So I am going to take 2 cups of my warm water and just put it right. Now you have to be careful. You want to only get like warm water. You don't want it too hot, and it can't be too cool either, or your yeast won't activate. So if you remember the method, or you know the method where you want to feel the water on your wrist, if it feels warm, it's good. So to our 2 cups of warm water, we are going to add our half a cup of sugar, and I am just going to put that right in. Then to that, I am putting 2.5 tablespoons of my dry active yeast, and we're just going to give that a quick little mix. Grab something to mix it with. We're just going to give it a quick little mix just to get all of the yeast and the sugar mixed around in here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cover this with a towel for about 10 minutes, and we're just going to let the yeast activate and foam all up. Alrighty, so we're just going to put a little towel right on top to keep it warm, and we're going to let it set for 10 minutes and we'll be back. Alrighty guys, it has been 10 minutes, so let's take a look and uncover and check our yeast. Alright, see how we have the nice foamy mixture? That means that our yeast is fully activated. So we're going to do put the rest of our ingredients in. And what we're going to do is I have 2 teaspoons of salt. So we're going to add that right to our mixture. Then I've got, this is my little secret ingredient that I use, but I guess it's not so much of a secret now. But I've got, let me double check my measurement. I've got a 1/4 cup of melted coconut oil. Okay, now the coconut oil does not make your cinnamon rolls taste like coconut, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just a really good oil to use in the recipe, and that's what I've always used when I've made the cinnamon rolls. So we are just going to add the melted coconut oil to our mixture. Then I've got 2 eggs, and I always put them in a small bowl. That way we don't have to worry about picking shells out of our mixture. So we're just going to put both of the eggs in. Then I am just going to fit my mixer here with my dough hook, and we are going to plug our mixer in first. Oh my goodness. Here. I guess I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was going to be. That's okay. Not everything has to go perfect. We just have to make sure that our end result tastes perfect, right? All right. So let me make sure that we are off. Plug it in. Now we're going. Okay, let's get that mixture mixed up just a little bit. Once all of our ingredients are incorporated and mixed up, we're going to start adding our flour 1 cup at a time. And what I've done is, since I always seem to lose track of how many cups I've added, we are needing 6 to 7 cups for the recipe. So 6 cups for sure. The 7th cup is always left in case our dough is still too sticky. It leaves room to add our 7th cup to the mix. So I always measure out 6 cups, put it in an extra bowl. That way I know that is exactly what I need for the recipe. All right, so we make sure we get our eggs all mixed in here. Alrighty, now what I'm going to start doing is, like I said, I'm just going to start by adding a cup at a time, and we're going to get all of our flour incorporated into our mix here. So let's just start by adding 1. And then you are gonna know when your dough is done when it pulls away from the sides of the bowl, and then we're gonna feel it, and it's going to give a little resistance. It's not gonna be sticky. You wanna get rid of all that sticky. Right. And we're just gonna slowly add in more. So like I said, a cup at a time. And you don't have to like fully mix after each cup. You just want to get it moistened and before you add your next cup. And it also helps to add the 1 cup at a time, so you're not getting a big cloud of flour. Right, just a couple more here to add. I think I'll just set that down. Better set it up here. I might need that 7th cup. Really? So once you've added your 6th cup, you're just gonna let it keep mixing, let it knead your dough for about 10 minutes. If you're doing it by hand, it'll take some time before you get your dough where it's not sticky. But we're using our stand mixer, so we are just gonna let it go. And I've got my other flour here just in case we need to add. You just want to make sure you don't over add flour. And I can see that I am probably going to have to add just a little bit more. It is pulling away from the sides of our mixer, but it still looks pretty sticky. I'm gonna turn this down, and oh yeah, see, we've still got a a pretty sticky dough. So I am going to add about a half cup. So this is going to make 6.5 cups that we've added of the flour. And I do use the non-bleached all-purpose flour with the recipe. Okay, now let's let this go for a moment. Get that kneaded in there. Like I said, you want to knead for about 10 minutes. So we are just going to let this continue. And there we go. We're just going to let this continue till we have a nice pull away from the sides dough and no stick. All right, so I'm done mixing, and I want to show you what I mean by when your dough will give you a little resistance. As you can see, it's pulled away from the bowl, and if I go to push in my finger, it'll pop back up. That is when you know that your dough is fully kneaded and is ready to just let rest and rise. So what I'm going to do is I am going to place a towel over the top, and we are just going to let our dough set. We want it to double in size, so it's going to take anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. Depending on the temperature in your home. I know today is a little bit cool outside, so what you can do is if you don't have a proofing setting on your oven, which I don't, I will put my oven on to about 175 just for a few minutes, shut it off just to get it nice and toasty warm in my oven, and then once it's completely off, then I will put my the whole bowl with the towel right in the oven, and that just keeps it nice and toasty warm, and we should have no problem with the dough rising. Alrighty guys, now we're going to check our dough. It should be doubled in size, and then I'm going to show you how to make the true magic happen with these cinnamon rolls. So let's take a little peek in here. Looky there. Perfect. Perfect. So I have already prepared a lightly floured mat here, and I am going to get you down where you can see the next step here. All right. What we're going to do is I am going to turn out the dough right onto the floured mat. I like to use a rolling mat just so that it doesn't take as much to clean up the countertop when you're done. And if it sticks a little bit to the inside of your mixing bowl, that's fine. It should peel out pretty easily here. Oh yeah, this turned out perfectly. We're just gonna knead this just a couple times here. And then what we're gonna do is I am gonna roll this out into a big rectangle with the rolling pin. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. We're gonna flour our rolling pin just a little bit here. And that air in your flour, or in your dough, I'm sorry, is going to give you a little resistance. So it's going to take a bit. You've got to get it rolled out, and it just wants to bounce right back into shape. So you just keep rolling. And if you have to use your hands, that's fine. We just need to get a rectangle shape so that we can put our butter and our brown sugar and our cinnamon mixture on the inside. Alrighty guys, so we have our rectangle, or as close to a rectangle as we're gonna get. And I've got some recipes that you see will call for melted butter, and you pour it on before you put your brown sugar mixture. I don't like to use the melted butter only because it kind of soaks into the dough, and I don't really want that. So what I do is I just soften my butter, and then I got some flour in there, but that'll be okay. I soften my butter, that way it's easily spread on the dough, doesn't soak into the dough, and it kind of helps, sort of makes a glue for your brown sugar and your cinnamon mixture. So once you get it into the big rectangle, your dough, we are gonna then spread the melted butter, or I'm sorry, not melted, softened butter, and we're just gonna, you want to leave about an inch from the sides, just so that when we go to roll it, it's not going to want to mush out so much. All right, and I have got, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you what I had here. I have got a whole stick of butter, which is actually 8 tablespoons. So it is a whole stick. Alrighty. Goodness, got it all over me here. All right, now I'm just gonna take my brown sugar. I've got between 3/4 and a cup of brown sugar, just depends on how sweet you want. But I've got 3/4 cup of brown sugar, and I have mixed that with 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. So we are just gonna spread this all on the top. And like I said, the butter will act as a glue, so it should hold all of that cinnamon and sugar goodness right inside. Oh yeah, that looks awesome. Okay, and then I am just gonna kind of smooth it out just a little bit so that it is all evenly spread. All right, it's got a few little chunks in here, but that's fine because it'll all melt down nicely. Okay, let me get my hands right here. Okay, then what we're going to do is I am going to, from the long side of your rectangle, I am going to tightly start rolling, and you want it as tight as you can get it. So we are going to peel it off of our rolling mat here, and we are just going to roll this up, and we're alrighty guys, I want to apologize. I was videoing on how I rolled my dough and started cutting, and realized my battery on my GoPro had died. So my video, I believe, cut off just before I started rolling the dough for my cinnamon rolls. So I do apologize, but what you're going to end up with is a long log or a long snake of dough. And how I cut mine is I get about 12 pieces in a roll, 12 cinnamon rolls, and I use dental floss to cut my cinnamon rolls. You want to use non-waxed, and you also want to make sure you don't have minty cinnamon roll or minty dental floss. So I'm going to get you down here, and like I said, I do apologize. I did not realize my battery was that low, and it cut off the rolling of my dough. But hopefully in the directions, they should be fairly easy to follow, and hopefully you will be able to follow my recipe in the description and get it rolled. But for now, we are going to finish cutting and putting our cinnamon rolls in our greased pans here. And you can also use a knife if you so choose. I just like to use the dental floss because it just kind of makes a nice cut. So I am going to finish getting these all cut. Alright, and there is our first 6, and I am going to grab my other pan, because what we're going to do once we get these all cut and put in the pan, we are going to put towels over the top of these pans, and we are going to let our cinnamon roll dough rise one more time for about 30 to 45 minutes, and they should double in size, and then we will get them baked. So for right now, let's finish up and get these cinnamon rolls all cut and ready for the next rise. Alrighty guys, so we have our cinnamon rolls in our pans, and the 2 little ends that I cut off, even though they probably don't have a lot of filling, I just stuck those right in the middle there. So we are going to cover these up with the towels, and then when they rise, their second rise, which is about 30 to 45 minutes, we'll come back and we'll get them put in the oven. Alrighty guys, so I have had my cinnamon rolls with the towel covering them, keeping them warm, waiting for them to double in size. It has been about 35 minutes now, and I believe they probably are done rising. So I've got my oven warming to 350 degrees, and I am going to take a little peek in here. Oh, perfect. Look at those cinnamon rolls. Oh my goodness. All right, let's get them uncovered. My oven is up to temperature, so I am going to pop these in the oven, and we're going to let them bake for 15 to 20 minutes. And a little secret, what I usually do, you know when a cinnamon roll is done perfectly when they reach an interior temperature. I've got a little thermometer that I use, and I check the internal temperature of the cinnamon roll when they're done baking, and they should be anywhere from 190 to 200 degrees. So I'll usually take them out when they're about 195 degrees, and that is when you know you will have a perfectly baked cinnamon roll. So let's get these put in the oven. Put you right there, and we will put you right here. All right, and then I am going to press my timer, turn my timer on here to 20 minutes. All right. And in the meantime, while these are baking, we're gonna come over here and we are gonna do a cream cheese frosting. And when the cinnamon rolls are done baking, we're gonna take them out and we are gonna put the cream cheese frosting on them right away. That way it just kind of melts all over the top and you get that perfect, yummy frosting. So we are gonna start here. Get my spatula. We are gonna start here with an 8-ounce block of softened cream cheese. Then I have got a stick of softened butter. All right. I've got 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then I am just gonna put a pinch of salt. So whatever you can fit between your 2 fingers is a pinch. So there's a pinch of salt. And then I am just gonna mix this up real good before I add my cream cheese. Set that right there. Always start out slow and then we'll increase the speed till we get a nice creamy mixture. And then I'll let that mix real good before I scrape the bowl. You always want to make sure you have softened cream cheese. If not, you'll get the clumps of cream cheese. So I always like to make sure I start out using the softened and then cream it really, really well. All right, let's double check this real quick. Oh yeah, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Now to this, I am going to add 2 cups. Here we go. I am going to add 2 cups of powdered sugar. And we're just going to do about half of the powdered sugar and just start slow or you will end up with a powdered sugar mess. Right, I'm going to add the rest. Perfect. Then what I have here, 2 tablespoons of milk. And what I like to do is add just a little at a time of the milk. That way we get a nice spreadable cream cheese frosting, because what we want is we don't want to be able to pour it on, but we want to be able to spread it real easily and have it just kind of pool up in the middle of the cinnamon rolls, like what you see on TV. All right. It may not take the whole 2 tablespoons, so I've added about a tablespoon here, and I think that actually might do it. Yeah, I think we're going to be good with just the 1 tablespoon. Yep, that is going to be perfect. And as you can see here, we've got a real nice, soft, we won't be able to pour, but it'll be a nice, soft cream cheese mixture. So it'll spread on real nicely as soon as these cinnamon rolls are done, and we will get them out of the oven. We'll get the cream cheese frosting on, and then of course we're gonna have to take a little sample. So, but if you guys have liked the video that I'm sharing with you today, if you could give me a thumbs up and push that little subscribe button and maybe share the video, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. So I am very thankful for each and every one of my subscribers, and if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be having fun doing these videos and sharing my recipes. So we are going to check our cinnamon rolls here in a few minutes, and we'll be back to get this nice, yummy cream cheese frosting put on top. Alrighty guys, so we are done. I tested my temperature in the cinnamon rolls and they're perfect. So let's get them out. Oh my goodness, look. All right, now we are going to get our cream cheese spread all over the top of these yummy cinnamon rolls. There we go. You want to just cover each cinnamon roll. Just get them completely smothered in this cream cheese. Perfect. Get a little more over here on these. And this is the key, is to get them frosted as soon as they get out when they are piping hot. All right, perfect. And there we go. All right, guys, we are gonna let these cool just slightly before we sample, but yeah, something tells me they're gonna turn out really good. All right, we'll be back here in just a few minutes, let them cool, and we'll try them out. All right, guys, now for the taste test. They are still a little warm, but we are gonna try one of these out. All right. Oh, looky there. Nice and soft and ooey gooey. Oh, we got to get a little more of this frosting. And like I said, they're still warm. So, all right. Let's try this out. All right, let's get a bite that has a lot of the cream cheese on it. Oh yeah. Sorry, I don't like to talk with my mouth full, but these things, oh my gosh, these things are like A+. They always turn out so moist and soft. I could eat the whole thing right now. That is so good. So good, guys. I think Mark is gonna actually love these. Okay, guys. Like I said, I use the disposable pans because if you want to share, you can take the whole pan over to a friend's or a family member's, unless you want to eat the whole pan and keep all of them, which I might just do. But anyway, guys, like I said earlier, if you could give me a thumbs up, share my video, click that little subscribe button, and keep an eye out for more recipes. And yeah, this is going to be a recipe you guys definitely have to try. So, well, anyway, guys, you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, hope to see you again. Thanks, guys.